Cristiano Ronaldo is the world's most famous football player and fitness leader, and the incredible world of fitness for a long, healthy life promises some spectacular major things. First of all, it promises that if you follow it, you're going to have the ability to make your body function at 100% all of the time. You're going to be able to live a life full of happiness, success, and more energy to do anything. Also, a life that just feels like it's full of balance, like everything fits in the right place, where you just feel like you're more physically able to do anything that you want, and you feel more masculine than you've ever been. Now, these things are quite extreme, but every guy wants to live like that. So to put it to the test, I decided to do Cristiano Ronaldo's evening routine every single day for 28 days to see what will happen. And it's important to note that what I'm doing here, the 4 major concepts we're going to be talking about, is taken from Cristiano Ronaldo's many interviews on how to be successful as an individual. Specifically on how to be successful in your fitness journey. So I made sure to go through hundreds of Cristiano Ronaldo interviews to find these 4 key concepts so you don't have to. So if you do enjoy this video at any point, please make sure to like and subscribe, because it does help the algorithm push this video out to everyone that needs it, and it does help me out as well. Finally, we're going to be talking about the 4 key things I did every evening for the last 28 days. Also going to be talking about the benefits of these things after and how they actually changed my life. First thing I did every evening is what fitness leaders will call progression, charting, consistency. One major key point he always wanted to get across to the interviewer was that talent alone wasn't enough for him to get to the level of success that he reached. He went on to state that in the last 15 years, numbers don't lie. His numbers have consistently been the same, and there's a reason for that. Cristiano Ronaldo stated the same. He doesn't mean the same as the numbers are not improving. He meant that he was always consistently performing at a high level, and the results of what he wanted to achieve was always at a high level. And his numbers has been the same purely because of focusing on one thing: making sure that he always completes a task that he set his mind to, and being able to journal his progress daily or weekly, and finding ways to be able to improve even the smallest thing with regards to what he wants to achieve for himself. And for you, maybe it could be improving your sleeping pattern. Maybe sometimes you realize that you have certain habits and behaviors before you go to sleep. Maybe you want to journal them so that way you understand what those behaviors are, what those triggers are. That way, the next time you approach it, you can change a small amount of things that can make a huge difference to your sleeping pattern. I took this even one step further. Now I understand that I can't fully control how my day will go or how my week will go, because there's a lot of major factors that can play into how my day is going to be, because there's other people that's going to be involved in it. But the one thing I can control is certain things about myself or my behaviors that can make sure that I get the outcome or get close enough to the outcome that I want. So let's say on Tuesday, I say that I want to make sure that I'm going to overload on my new workouts. I'm going to push more than I usually push, like 120 kg on the bench. So the day before that, I will make sure that I eat a certain amount of carbs. I will sleep a certain amount of hours. I won't be watching my phone screen or being on social media a certain amount of hours. So that way I can be mentally prepared. So the next day, when it comes to actually doing that activity, I feel fully charged and fully ready to be able to achieve the results that I want from that activity. The second key concept Cristiano Ronaldo said is that he doesn't follow results or records. Records or results follow him. So what this means is that the results and the records doesn't make you the person that you are. Now, the person that you are makes those results and records. From a fitness perspective, let's say that on a Monday you benched 100 kg and a lot of people are praising you for benching 100 kg. Then on the Thursday on the same week, you just could only bench about 90 kg, and everyone's looking at you because you was able to bench 100 kg the previous days before. Now, should this affect your confidence? No. Should this affect your ability to make sure that you can always bench 100 kg again? No. Does this mean that you're now weaker or you're a failure because now you're not doing as much as you could the previous day? Not at all. Your only focus should always remain on the fact that you actually showed up to actually exercise and work out like you said you did. The fact that you was able to bench 100 kg on the Monday is the absolute proof that you can always do it again. And again, like in Cristiano Ronaldo's case, for example, he will speak about certain games where he went on and he didn't score for maybe 2 or 3 matches. And then that didn't derail him from who he was as a player or his contribution to the team, because the next 5 games he will end up scoring maybe 10 or 15 goals. And when you look at his record in the total, do you feel like this is going to affect it? Not at all, because his focus is on his contribution to what he said he was going to do for the team, as well as what he said he was going to do for himself. And your focus should always be around focusing on what you feel like you're going to do for your daily activities, your weekly activities, and your monthly activities. And making sure even if you have a bad day, it doesn't mean that that bad day is going to be a bad week And it doesn't mean that bad week is going to be a bad month. You just have to remain consistent and make sure you always show up. The third thing Cristiano Ronaldo said is he practices self-belief. Ronaldo was asked if he thinks he's the best player in the world. He said he feels like he's the best player in the world. And when he was asked, what about Lionel Messi, if Lionel Messi might be the better player than him, he said that he understands that people will have opinions about whether he or Lionel Messi might be the best player in the world. However, he doesn't focus on those opinions because he focuses on how he feels about himself, how he feels about his contribution to his profession, and what he wants to do with that energy to make sure that he consistently shows up and he consistently makes sure that he achieves everything that he wants to for himself. So for me, the way I practice self-belief every evening was becoming very self-aware of my wants and my needs and the values that I bring into my life and the people that are around me. My focus was always on how to appreciate and enjoy things I like about myself and how to improve certain things about myself that I felt like I had some shortcomings from. The one thing you can't stop is people having opinions about anything. Now, people are always going to have an opinion about you, who you are, where you're from, but that can't be the reason why you stop. So whilst people are making their opinions about you, this is the time where you're supposed to be self-improving and improving yourself. And whilst you're improving yourself, people are going to be creating new opinions to compare you to someone else or compare you to themselves. So your focus shouldn't be looking at comparison for the sake of, oh, am I better than this person? It should be looking at the comparison for the sake of, how do I improve to better myself? And this leads on to the fourth main concept, which is the most important one, which is mirror success. Cristiano Ronaldo said in many of his interviews, he said that some of the people that were the most successful individuals in his field of work were the people that inspired him for him to become more healthier, more faster, more better in the pitch. So people such as Ryan Giggs, Roy Keane, Rio Ferdinand, and many, many more football players around the world. But he was very selective about the football players that he picked because he focused on picking players that had similar characteristics towards what he had as well. He would pick a player that might be tall, that might be the same weight, that might run fast, that may provide flair or a level of skill, that might be very intelligent the same way he wants to be intelligent. And the importance of that was because he could see himself in those bodies, which meant that he could learn the training methods, the characteristics, the full patterns, so that way he can apply it to himself, because seeing them succeed with the same physique and same abilities where he lacks in inspired him to be able to do what they do, so that way he can become the best version of himself. So for you, if you're looking for someone in the field of fitness or any type of expertise that you enjoy, that you are passionate about, maybe you want to pick on someone that has a similar build, someone that has a similar feature than you, someone that has something about them that mirrors who you are and how you are. Say you're doing a workout routine and you're working out until failure, but you want to keep on going. Now, the first thought that can come to your head if your voice isn't enough for you to push you on to do more than that could be, oh, what if insert name was at this point, what would he do? What would say to himself to push himself forward? Or what would say to herself to push herself forward? So once you have that in your head and you hear those words, it takes the responsibility away from you and it puts it onto that other individual. And because you feel like it's that other individual speaking directly to you, and you feel like you trust what those words coming from that individual is, and you understand that that individual has succeeded in their life by saying these words to themselves, then that will be enough motivation to push you through, so that way you can reach the results that you want for yourself. And this reminds me of a famous saying, and it goes, you don't have to feel like you're 100% to give 100%, but you have to try 100% of the time to do what you said you were supposed to do. So now let's get into how these 4 things have impacted my life. So the first main thing is I feel a lot more happier. Like I have this crazy amount of energy from wanting to do activities after work, from wanting to go and socialize with people. Now, I'm not saying I'm trying to be a social butterfly every day, because sometimes my social battery runs out. Like, I just want to do something else, maybe change of pace, maybe try another activity, but I am just full of energy all the time. My physical health has improved my mental health because it's made me more self-aware of certain behaviors that affects my physical health. And having the ability to journal my progression, I know my daily progression, has given me the opportunity to make sure that I hold myself accountable for certain things that I'm doing. So, you know, I make myself a lot more aware of certain behaviors and certain triggers that I go through, especially when it comes to sleeping. Sleeping has been something that I've struggled a lot with. And by doing this, it's helped me to remind myself, okay, maybe I want to stop being on social media 20 minutes before I go to sleep. Maybe I want to stop thinking about this before I go to sleep. Maybe I want to make sure that I prepare my previous night and eat these type of foods, so that way I can do this type of workout the next day. And being able to journal that is always a great reminder. When I actually forget, I can just open the journal or open on my phone on the journal part and just read that part, and it reminds me instantly what I'm supposed to do. I feel less stress about things that I can't control. When I'm in an environment, when I'm at work, when someone says something I don't necessarily agree with, I don't now shoot to try to make them or prove them right or prove them to see things how I want them to see things or how I see things. Just look at it from a different lens. Maybe they're in a journey and a specific part on their own self-improvement journey. Not stress about things that I can't control. I just focus on things that I can control, and I'm more disciplined about things that I can control. And because I can control those things, it brings me joy when it goes the way I want it to go. The idea of being consistent isn't the fact that if you're consistent all the time, everything's always going to go your way every single day or every single week. But the fact that you always show up is where the consistency comes from, you know. The fact that you have a routine, the fact that you know what your routine is, the fact that you stick to the routine that you said you were going to do, the fact that you look at yourself and feel like, you know what, regardless of this didn't go this way or the way that I wanted it to go this week, I still have another week to make sure that I improve. You know, looking at Cristiano Ronaldo, when I mentioned before, when he said, oh, if I don't score a goal in 3 matches, then I score in the next 5 matches. Does that mean that I'm a bad player? No, it just means that those 3 matches, I was able to just show up and maybe contribute in other ways. So my focus is always making sure that I show up. If I'm contributing in other ways, I didn't bench the same amount that I said I wanted to, but guess what? I showed up. I made sure that my mobility and my body still used to benching. I made sure that I did exactly what I said I was going to do, because mentally that puts me in a space where now I can trust the voice that's in my head. I can trust that if I say I'm going to do something, I can put my mind and my body will follow. Even though I've done a lot in the last 28 days on the self-improvement journey, I still feel like I'm at the beginning of my self-improvement journey. So if you want to join me in this crazy self-improvement journey so that way you can improve yourself on a day-to-day basis, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you soon. And by the way, before you guys go, let me know which was your favorite concept from Cristiano Ronaldo, yeah? And if you need any help or any tool or any way to improve your physique, make sure to click the link in the bio.